in this case, my collaborators weren't just the people working on the show, but they were the fans. They're all over Reddit talking about the history of who Robert House is.
What I do is I know everything.
And to kick it off, I gotta say, I love some of these little, I would say, hidden treasures that are in the show. Like, there's an alien in a fridge and like the Declaration of Independence in a warehouse. So for
Yes.
you, what item would you love to find in the apocalypse? Like an everyday item or something random.
Oh, in the apocalypse, man,
Mhm.
or in the past, where my character is. Well,
Ooh,
if I was in the future, I would probably like to find one of my character's old shoes. That would be fun.
ooh, nice. Okay, now what if we were in
Just
the
the left
past?
shoe, or cigarette.
And now what if we were in the past? What do you think you would go with?
Maybe a photo album. Those are always good.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
Or
the
a record,
nostalgia.
a good record. You know, like
Yeah.
Bobby Darin comes to mind.
And music
Maybe
is such a
Beyond
huge
the
part of
Sea.
this show.
Oh yeah, it's such a good part of the show.
So I
Absolutely.
love. So yeah, a record would be awesome as long as you can play it. I actually need to hear it.
What about you? What would you grab?
Ooh, I think I would love to find maybe one of those sort of snow globe sort of things.
Ooh,
Um,
of
and
like
I would love to be
Vegas and it's
surprised by like,
snowing.
yeah, like what location. Maybe it's not so globe. Maybe it's Vegas and there's like confetti or money, little bits of
Mm.
money inside.
Oh, that's good. Money.
That would be awesome. Just getting into it, we saw your character briefly in season one. So how are
Right.
we going to expand on it more in season two?
Well, I mean, since season one, so you saw me at the table in season one, and then a lot of information has come out recently. So it's kind of a twist a little bit what my character is in this show. As we know, Justin is playing Robert House, and I am, to quote Justin himself, I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, disguised as Robert House in this case. So my character is the middle dude of that. Rafi's the first dude, my character is the middle dude, and then I'm disguised as Robert House. So you get to see a little bit of both for me because I'm the Robert House presenting to the world of Fallout, and then when I bring Cooper Howard up to see Justin, that's when you really get to see Robert House, and then my character kind of gets to drop the veil for a little bit, get on his smoke break, and you get a little glimpse into his world for a second.
Yeah, yeah. And saying this now, but when there's a whole bunch of like uproar on the internet for a while about like, oh, are they recasting Rafi? And there's like
Mm-hmm.
threads on Reddit. People are combing through your socials. I mean, when you saw that, like, what was your initial reaction? What did you think of all that?
Well, I just wanted to jump through the phone and tell them all like the truth, but I also knew that it's no fun for the fans if they don't get to find it out naturally. I mean, when I first learned about this twist, I was a fan. I had done all this research on Robert House. I'd been studying him. I'd been watching hours and hours of YouTube, learning about his history, learning about where he went to school, how his parents died, the history with his brother, the history of New Vegas, learning all of this stuff, not knowing that I was preparing the way that my character would prepare to play his role as Robert House. And then when I learned that I was the double of said Robert House, who he'd never seen or met, I was a fan myself. I was like, yes, that's the best idea and such a fun role for me to play because
Yeah.
I get to do both, and also I get to watch and learn from Justin Theroux, who has
Mhm.
always been an actor that I've admired and look up to, and to act with him on set and him and Walton, it was a dream come true. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you talk to me a little bit about, I mean, you two going through these iterations, I will say, of Robert House. What was that like, working? Did you guys talk through it together or like I mean, obviously
Yeah,
we're all seeing your iterations, but what was that like for you? Tell me about it.
well, it was really fun because, we both had a source material of Renee, who was up on the screen from the game. And we both aren't really doing an impression of Renee either. So I can't speak for Renee, but because he's since passed, but all three of us are playing iterations of Robert House, which is so fun. He gets to do his take on him. I get to do my take on him. He's hiding in plain sight. I'm out there hiding in the shadows, but also out there in plain sight, pretending to be Robert House. It's kind of fun that we all get to play this same character and get to do our individual takes on it. And then yet Justin and I can talk about it on the side and be like, oh, this is interesting. That's what you've been working on. This is the history of him, and really get on the same page with that. But that, you know, that's kind of the fun about him just as an actor, but also the fun of him as a character. The fact that he was so smart and so aware of the human condition that he was able to kind of manipulate the way people perceived him. And I mean, I know the source material of Howard Hughes, who he's based on, who had doubles for himself and locked himself up in his casino. But in this case, as we see, it's not necessarily that. It's also, in addition to that, maybe the fact that he likes to really play chess with the world. And I'm a version of that.
Yeah. It's so cool. I mean, as an actor, I imagine, the preparation. I know you talked about the research, but I would love to hear a little bit, if you can dive into a little bit of your method in thinking, okay, a dude playing a dude. But what is that like for you going through these iterations as well? And I know you talked about talking with Justin, but for yourself as your craft developing your Robert
Mhm.
House.
Well, honestly, thank God for the fans and thank God for the source material, because a lot of the time when you get cast in a role, you're really creating it from your imagination and your collaborators. In this case, my collaborators weren't just the people working on the show, but they were the fans. They're all over Reddit talking about the history of who Robert House is. Renee, the source material from the game. And so since season one, I took some voice work from Renee. I work at Columbia University in the MFA acting program. I teach mindfulness meditation. And I grabbed the head of the voice department and we got together. We pulled some of Renee's work and we started working on the voice a little bit without trying to do an impression, but trying to hint a little bit like, okay, he is a version of that, but not the same. Then in addition to that, like studying what the Lucky 38 is. I mean, there are incredible hours and hours on YouTube of people playing through the game, talking about the lore of Robert House, the history of Robert House, questioning his methods and his intentions in the world. And so I could really pull, I come from the theater world and I like to call these incredible YouTubers my dramaturgs without them even knowing that. But they were essentially my dramaturgs. And I was picking and choosing and pulling from all of that to present myself and put that into my body, his germophobia. And, there's subtle things when I show up on set and somebody comes to shake my hand and I attempt to avoid it, thinking about those sort of things like Howard Hughes would or Robert House would, and really just adding those subtleties. And then playing the middle dude, I got to build a whole world inside of my own imagination with the creative team about when I get to actually drop the veil, who is that guy? And what's his life like? Living his entire being Robert House, except for all intents and purposes when he's around Justin and the robots. And so there was so much to play with and so much to continue to explore.
Yeah. And I have this image in my head of you and Justin looking kind of like that Spider-Man meme, like pointing at each other
That's
and
exactly
like,
right. Yes.
you're Robert
You,
House. But
There's
do
two
you
of
have
them.
any, yeah, there's two of them. Do you have any memorable moments of the two of you on set going through, anything?
Well, honestly, I mean, well, an interesting thing. When I found out it was Justin, the first thing that popped to my mind, and this is just a weird serendipitous thing that happened, but Justin did a movie called Girl on the Train,
Yeah.
which took place they shot it in White Plains, New York, on a street called Macy Avenue. And the reason why I know that so specifically is because it happened to be shot in my neighbor's house of the house I grew up in. And so they used the house I grew up in as like a holding area. This is after my parents had sold the home. And so I was thinking Justin Theroux, who I'm now doubling, was in my childhood home that I grew up in, had all these incredible formational memories. And I was like, the minute I meet him, that's the first thing I'm going to say. And then the second thing I'm going to say is that when Geneva and I were on the phone, the first thing I said to her was, it's just like Tropic Thunder. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, quoting Justin himself. And so there were so many things that I just wanted to, right when I saw him and he was getting his mustache and I was sitting next to him doing my mustache, I kept looking at him and pointing at him. And it was just right away, I was like, we're going to get along. He's such a nice guy. And yeah, I mean, there were moments where I was like, hey, 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 hey. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully we get to do more of that.
Yeah. Did you get to tell him about the house though?
Oh yeah, immediately. It was the first thing I did. I got into the trailer. He's getting his mustache done, and before I even sat down, I was like, Justin, I'm Rafi. Nice to meet you. I got to tell you about this thing because I can't believe how crazy that is. Because this is the only they don't shoot a lot of movies on my street that I grew up in. In fact, I think that might be the only movie ever made on that street. And
Wow.
so the fact that he was there on that street shooting an entire film and I'd known about. I mean, I was kicking myself because I didn't live there anymore, and my parents didn't either. And Steven Spielberg was all around my street. I was like, "Oh my god, I watched Jaws on that street, and there he is. He's on my street. How could I not go?" But yeah, I got to tell him about that, and we
That's
spent the
wild.
whole day together shooting on the volume, and it was so fun.
Awesome. Wow. What did he say?
What did he say about that? He was like, "Oh my God, that's kind of crazy because sometimes actors go, he's like, I really admire you from this movie, or to have like such a specific story to tell, it like really drops you and be like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. This is pretty interesting."
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I want to know if you can take me back just a little bit to when you did find out and learn about what was going to, happen with your character. Did you know, in season one, or can you talk me through that? You reveal a little bit of, what was that like for you?
Well, I knew something was up in season one. And I think I knew something was up even before I had gotten the offer. My wife happens, another serendipitous thing. My wife used to be a voiceover agent, talent agent, a long time ago, and worked in video games, and happened to be part of one of the projects was trying to cast Fallout New Vegas, the video game. So she knew all of the characters very well, had a lot of actors going out for Robert House. So she knew all the lines, knew the character. And so when I got the audition, my wife is my self-tape partner. She was like, I know this. This show's Fallout. Even though it didn't say Fallout, it was a secret name. She's like, Robert House, a big character. And then she looked at me and goes, you're too young for it. And I was like, oh. She's like, yeah,
Don't throw me
he's
off my
older.
self tape.
He's older than you. I was like, well, I'm going to give it my best take. And she was like, you're doing good, but you're young. And then they offered me the job. And when I was on set, I was like, this doesn't, I'm a real life guy and he's on the screen, but I didn't know it was a flashback. So I knew something was up and they were playing like the crew wasn't the crew in Geneva and Graham. They were being a little coy about the fact that like, yeah, they didn't want to give too much away, but there's something to do with this character. There was some mysterious stuff
Mhm.
going on. And I was like, great. And then I watched the episode and saw we were going to New Vegas. And then I was like, oh wow. that was a flashback. We're going to New Vegas. There's more to this character than meets the eye. And slowly but surely, information started being told to me, leaking to me through Geneva and Graham and all them about who he specifically is. And I was super excited about it because I love the story. And I was like, this is such a good, delicious twist for the fans, I think.
Yeah, awesome. And what would you want, fans who have been speculating now they're, starting to learn more. What would you want them to know about your character, the iteration? What do you think maybe makes him unique to the other Robert?
Well, I really, really want them to be like, ask the question primarily. If he's not Robert House, then who is he? I don't want to give too much else away. I love the fan theory. I love hearing all of it. It's like if he's not Robert House, then who's this guy? When did he meet him? What's the history? What's their relationship? There's so much fun. And I remember Geneva was talking to me about the fact that like I'm an actor playing Robert House and Cooper Howard is an actor as well who plays a cowboy who ends up becoming a cowboy. And so there's a lot of parallel play there and there's a lot going on. There's a lot more layers to peel off the onion here. And another thing is that it really makes people want to go back and play the game and look at it from a different lens, these prequel scenes. It informs the game in a different way. And also now that we flash forward, it's like learning a great twist at the end of a movie and then going back and rewatching it. So that's what's so nice about doing this particular project is that they exist in the same space. And so everything we do informs that and that informs us. And it's just so much fun to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine, as an actor, you're like, this is incredible.
Yeah, it's the best.
Well,
It's so fun. Yeah.
and what would you say in this coming season, season two, what will surprise the most devoted Fallout fans?
Well, I mean, I think that I gotta say this twist on Robert House is going to make people be like, because you'll see me in episode 1 and you'll be like, wait a minute, I thought he was recast. I thought he was replaced. And then as time goes on, episode 5, you'll be like, whoa. And I think just the way Walton played it, his shock is the shock of what he is the fans in that moment. Like his complete shock that I am not him, and then he's meeting him, and it's like your whole world gets twisted under your feet. So look, but I'm partial. I'm, part of the house always wins story. So I hope that that's the biggest twist of the season, but I know there's a lot of other twists and turns.
Yeah, there's so much going on in this world. And that's what makes it so fun and so entertaining.
Yeah.
And Fallout doesn't shy away, I would say, from some of the like violence or blood or wild oddities that are thrown in there. What can you say fans can expect in terms of the heightened intensity tone that's coming out this season?
Well, I just think we're getting closer to the end of the world. And I think that especially in the prequel scenes, as you're getting closer and closer to the end of the world, things heighten and the stakes get higher. It doesn't change the tone so much of the quirkiness and the post-apocalyptic, fish out of water or stuff like that. But as we approach the reality of how the world actually ended and who profited off of that, it's a really strong conversation that can create a lot of debate and everything. And I think that is the pulse that is riding through the games that we get to explore with these prequel scenes. And so I think as much as we're having fun and we're blowing people's heads up and we're laughing about it, I do think that the undercurrent theme is very timely and it's very interesting to bring people to the conversation and maybe see a reflection of themselves watching the show as well as being entertained. And I think that's what good art is intending to do in general.
Yeah, I agree. It's absolutely, inspiring this conversation around that. Like I was watching it and I was thinking, capitalism, good or bad. I mean, who would
Yeah, and
say?
I
But
mean, I mean Robert House as a character in this world, whether he's hiding in plain sight or out there presenting as an actor, he really represents so many facets of our current society. And it's a really interesting character to put right on our television screen in 2025, 2026. Within, and the fact is, he wasn't created for this TV show. He has been part of the world since the video game and all the way back to Howard Hughes, who he was based off. So it's really interesting that we keep having these conversations, and it's important for us to, use art to be able to express that, I think.
yeah, yeah. Are there any conversations that you hope it, comes out of this more that are inspired?
Well, I just hope that people will then go back and be like, I was wrong. Rafi wasn't recast out of this thing. Wow, they fooled us. because
He's
I've
still
been,
here,
I've,
everyone. Still
because I've
here.
been, literally, I've had to keep this quiet for so long. The only people that know that I was in the show only speculated because I would come back from California and I'd have a mustache. I'd be like, I know what that is. I'd be like, what? I'm just wearing a mustache. I'm like, I know what you're doing. I know why you're wearing that. So it's
Yeah.
nice. Hopefully, those are the conversations that people have. It's like, oh my God, you were in the show. You still are there. So hopefully,
Yeah, those Reddit threads will continue now. It's look, look we were wrong, or I was right. He is still
it's not really Rafi. It's somebody playing him. So you know what I
there.
mean?
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add, about you, your character, the new season, before we close out?
Oh my God, I can't wait to just see what people have to say about this. And I hope everyone tunes in and sticks with it and enjoys all the hard work that everyone put into this, not just from the incredible set building to the incredible storytelling and writing, but also as a cast and crew who like banded together during the fires. That was like a huge part of this, how the fires delayed everything. And we shot in California, and it was just so great to be able to do production in California and band together as a crew. And hopefully people celebrate this project because everyone put a lot of hard work into it and banded together, which was super cool.